Hey guys, in this video I'm gonna show you a few very powerful Scribing combinations for tanking. From what I've tested so far, it feels like Scribing is gonna bring balance and blur the lines between different tank classes. For example, one of Nightblade tank's major weaknesses is lack of a Magicka costing damage shield. And soon you'll be able to cover that weakness with Scribing. The Scribing system hasn't been out for long yet, so don't consider this a guide. This is gonna be just me showing off some really interesting combinations. And basically the best bits. A proper Scribing guide will take much more time to make, because I wanna make sure it's really good. I won't be showing you all the options, so if you wanna check them out without logging into PTS, Skinny Cheeks made a great spreadsheet for it, and I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description. First I wanna show off something exclusive to Templar tanks, because we're gonna make use of their class mastery script. We're going to use the shield throw as our base. First we're going to pick Taunt as our focus script. That's because we'll want to proc the Tremor Scale monster set with it. Then, in the second row, we're going to choose the class mastery signature script. The Templar class mastery grants 33,000 armor and slows your movement speed by 50% for 4 seconds. So it's going to boost the armor penetration provided by Tremor Scale by 2640, since it scales with 8% of your armor. So, if you're at armor cap, and then you add this Templar class mastery, your Tremor Scale will penetrate 5280 armor, which is a lot and it could be super useful in dungeons and in unorganized trials. It's almost as much penetration as if you were wearing Tremor Scale and Crimson Oath. In the last row, we can choose either debuffing the enemy with Major Cowardice for 10 seconds, reducing their weapon and spell damage by 430, or buffing ourselves with Major Vitality for 10 seconds, increasing our healing received and strength of the damage shields by 12%. Both are very good, and which is better is going to depend on the situation, though I'd probably go with the Major Vitality for the majority of situations on a Templar, unless it's content like Infinite Archive, where weapon damage reductions are super effective. Next, we're gonna make something out of the single target soul magic base ability, Wield Soul. We're going to trade Magicka for stamina with it, kinda like what Dragon Knight tanks can already do with the Helping Hands passive, but it's going to be even more Magicka efficient. In the first row, we're going to choose Pull as our focus script, for 2 reasons. First reason is that we need a pull ability in most of our setups anyway, so it's gonna make it easier to fit this into our skill bar, as it's just gonna replace Silver Leash or Unrelenting Grip. Second reason is that focus script choice affects the cost of the ability, and pull is one of the cheapest options. In the second row, we're going to choose Druid's Resurgence as our signature script, which restores 1000 Magicka and stamina. The skill itself costs 2700 Magicka at base, and with 3 infused Magicka cost reduction enchants, and a single light armor piece, it's going to cost 1693 Magicka. This means that we'll be able to essentially trade 693 Magicka for 1000 stamina, which makes sustain so much easier, and it's not even this ability's only function. It's also a pull, and we can also choose another bonus in the third row. So in the third row, the best options are Major Vitality and Major Cowardice, similar to the shield throw ability we scrapped before. Which is gonna be better is going to depend on the situation, but you could also get both if you're going to use multiple Scribing abilities. You could get Major Vitality from the shield throw, and apply Major Cowardice with Wield Soul. Next we're gonna make something out of the Mage's Guild base ability, Contingency. This ability places a rune on you that triggers the next time you cast an ability with a cost. The delayed nature of it is quite useful, because you can use it before running into a pack of mobs, and whenever you taunt the first enemy you also apply whatever effect you chose for this skill. In the first row, we're going to choose the damage shield option. Triggering the rune will now shield you and allies within 8 meters for 24% of your max health, which is absolutely massive. To give you some comparison, Ignis Shield, Dragon Knight's ability which fulfills a similar purpose right now, shields the caster for 20.7% of max HP and nearby allies for 8.3%. And even with that 8.3% scaling, it's a nice tool for helping your team survive. Although keep in mind that Ignis does have a longer range, 12 meters rather than 8. In the second row, we're going to choose the Gladiator's Tenacity, which is going to apply an 8% damage reduction buff to you and affected allies for 7.2 seconds. It's not some minor or major buff, it's actually unique, and it's going to greatly boost your and your team's survivability. In the last row, we can choose Minor Force, Minor Protection, Minor Resolve, or Minor Intellect and Endurance. All options are good, and I don't want to get into too much detail on where you should choose what, so all I'm gonna say is that I chose Minor Intellect and Endurance, as that allowed me to replace the Zena's Empowering Disc, when combined with the next Scribing ability I'm going to show you. This time we're going to use the Soul Magic AoE ability, Soul Burst. It's going to be very similar to Contingency, except it isn't delayed. In the first row, we're going to once again choose a damage shield. Just like with Contingency, it's going to grant a damage shield to you and allies within 8 meters, although it's a tiny bit weaker. This one scales with 21.8% of your max HP, rather than 24. In the second row, we have a few options. We could choose Anchorite's Potency, which is going to generate 2 ultimate up to once every 3 seconds. We could choose Crusader's Defiance, which is going to remove a single debuff from everyone affected. Or we could choose Class Mastery, though this depends on the class. I didn't choose it because I was playing an Arcanist, so the Mastery was just generating a single Crux. But I can see it being useful if you're a Dragonite, who will get another damage reduction buff from it, or if you're a Necromancer, who can generate a corpse with it, but only if timed correctly. So I went with the Ultigen option. In the last row, there's once again multiple good options, but I went with Minor Courage. So that combined with the previous Scribing ability, Contingency, I could completely remove Zena's Empowering Disc from my skill bar, as it's hard to fit in these new abilities. And that's it for this video. If you have any more questions, you can comment down below, or join our Discord server Wildheart. As always, feedback will be appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my Twitch. Thanks for watching and see you next time.